Fair. So let's go to a numbers prediction here, man. Caleb Williams season numbers. Now we've all gone around and thought about what it'll be. We've heard what the expectations are from Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson saying he wants 70% completion and things like that, which I think is a solid number to aim for. So this is what I've got Caleb doing, and this is pending him playing at least 15 of the 17 games. Right. So last year he had 3,500 yards passing. He had 20 touchdowns. I think it was something like 6 picks or something like that. I think Caleb will be the first 4,000-yard passer in the history of the Chicago Bears. I mean, if you threw for 35,000 yards, 3,500 yards in maybe the worst offense I've ever seen as a Chicago Bears fan with absolute incompetence around you, I think asking for another 500 passing yards isn't asking for a lot, especially with this new scheme. So I'm going to say he does become the first 4,000-yard passer. And I do think he's going to get a 70%. I think barely 70%, but I think he gets a 70% completion percentage. I think his preseason was like 68 or some shit like that. 28 passing touchdowns. I think 8 more touchdowns passing is the bare minimum. I'm not gonna say 30. I think there's not even a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL who threw for 30 last year. I think it was Burrow, Allen, and not even Allen. Allen didn't throw 30. I think it was just Burrow and Lamar. I don't even think Pat threw 30. I think it was just Burrow and Lamar last year who threw for 30 passing touchdowns. So I'm gonna say 28. 8 more than he had last season. And he's never been a big turnover guy. I'm more worried about fumbles more than I am picks. But I do think because the volume of passes he's going to throw is going to be larger than last year. And I think they're going to take more shots and more risks than they did last year. So I think it'll be more opportunities for him to throw interceptions. So I think he'll have 2 more than last year. 8 picks. So I got 4,000 yards passing, 70% completion percentage, 28 touchdowns thrown, and 8 interceptions for Caleb Williams in his 2025 campaign. Bang, what are your numbers for Caleb Williams in this season?
I think Caleb is gonna just miss being a 4,000 yard passer. I think he's gonna get to about 38, 3,900. I do think he's gonna increase his amount of touchdowns. I'm thinking he's gonna get close to 30. I do think he's going to have more interceptions. I'm going to put him at about 10 interceptions because I think Ben is going to want him to go out there and take some chances to see what happens. And I think that's going to count to 4 more interceptions than he had last year. I do think he's going to have a pretty decent season. I think there's a lot of focus on him being the first 4,000 yard passer. We even did that last year. We're thinking that, assuming that that will happen. But no, I think he's going to just miss it, but he's still going to have a good season there with over 38, 39,000 yards, about 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I don't think he's going to hit 70% completion, but I'll give him around 68. It's not going to be a bad season, though, for him.
All right, Dante, I'm eager to hear this. The floor is yours. What are your 2025 season numbers for Caleb Williams?
Oh, my season numbers are actually very similar to yours. I got 4,100 yards. I got 27 touchdowns. I got 8 interceptions. Like I said, I go back and watch last season for anybody who's really cares about this team. And you got we all got Sunday Ticket, or you got access to YouTube, where you can watch a condensed game. Those offensive schemes were terrible. Like some of those games when he had 150, 160 yards. I think Ben Johnson's going to easily get him 250, 270 just off the strength of putting people in the position to succeed. Like I said, I know it's preseason. I don't give it too much weight. But one thing I did love was watching the way the scheme worked. You have offensive players, rather, skill position. They aren't running in the same spots. Well, you saw that a lot in offenses in the city for years, where you have guys who are running to the same spot, people running the same route. People are confused. So that the decision making, while they're still learning the offense, so you got to give them room for improvement. It seems to be more crisp with this offense. So I think, with that said, based on what we saw and what we're gonna see, unless the guy just stinks, I think Caleb is gonna have a lot of those games where he has 265, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Like that type shit. He gonna have those games where he blows up, but I think the norm for him is gonna be a lot higher, and I think that's a good thing. I think for years as sad as it is, like I said, the bars in hell, we've had years where like when our quarterback threw for over 200 yards in the game, we're like, hey man, we was airing that bitch out today. Like, and I don't think that'll be the case with Ben Johnson. I think so. The yards will be there, the touchdowns will be there. Caleb has never turned the ball over his entire life. That's one thing I will say. That's not what he does. He doesn't turn the ball over. So I'll give him that. So yeah, I say 4,100, 27 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Courtney, what you got for us? How you think his numbers gonna look this season?
I also said around 4,100 yards. Is that crazy? Is that unrealistic?
No, I don't think it is.
No, and I said anywhere between 10 and 12 interceptions. I'd prefer the low end. But again, he's going to have to take chances, and some of those chances, again, interceptions aren't always a quarterback's fault. I don't like that it's always like
agreed. Be like ERA. It should be like ERA, earned runs and unearned runs. I 100% agree with that.
I'll take it a step further. We make all these, we create the categories that are the statistics. There should be a category for interceptions that are tipped by the wide receiver. Like that should be on the receiver, not the quarterback. But go ahead.
But yeah, anywhere from 10 to 12 interceptions. And then about 60. I said I was with Bang. I was like 65 to 68% completion percentage.
That is very fair. I think all of ours are pretty fair, man. So let's go.
I said 25 to 27 passing touchdowns.
Okay. I think these are all fair numbers. I don't disagree with none of y'all. Now time for the moment of truth, as we've got the schedule here on this platform, man. So I already know Dante shouldn't be some bullshit. I prepared mine last night, so I don't have to go through each game guessing. So I'm gonna go through my list of game by game of who I got winning. I wrote it last night, so this is not me guessing right now. So I'm gonna give after I go through each game, I'm going to give you where they're gonna finish in the division and if they make the playoffs or not. So Monday Night Football at the Lakefront on the 8th of September against the Minnesota Vikings at home. I have the Bears in a win. I don't think this is going to be a pretty game. I think this is going to be a close game. I think that Brian Flores' defense is going to be ready to play. But I think the Bears are going to win. I think the Bears are going to win now at home and have everybody feeling somewhat good after this first one. Now, week 2, in my opinion, way too early for this matchup. I felt like they were going to have Ben Johnson returning to Detroit later in the season. That would be like a Sunday night football type of game, but not. It's going to be a week 2 afternoon game, and I think Detroit's going to win. I think Detroit's going to win that game. I will talk more about Detroit next week, but I think that Detroit's going to take a little bit of a step back, but I still think it's a better team than the Bears, and I just think that a lot of the players and a lot of the fans are not happy with Ben for leaving, and I think they're going to take that out on us. I think it's going to be a good game, though. And then they come back to the crib week 3 against the Dallas Cowboys. I got that as a win. For the Bears. They go on the road to Las Vegas against the Raiders, the new look Raiders, Pete Carroll, Ashton Genty, Geno Smith. I think the Raiders are going to win that game. And I got us being 2-2 after the first month of the season. You've got a bye week after that. And then we got week 6, Monday Night Football, the scene of the crime. In Washington, D.C. or Orlando, Maryland, really, where they will be taking on the Washington Commanders. And it will be our second Caleb-Jaden matchup. I want a different outcome here. I just don't see it. I think Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback right now, and I think he will continue to be a better quarterback until I see otherwise. Even though I do think Washington's going to take a step back, I do not think Jaden's going to take a step back. I don't know. I think Jaden's not going to have a CJ Stroud year. I think he's the guy that we think he is, and I think Washington's going to win that game. Then you come home, which is the game that Bain's looking at is he wants the offense to look better, and I think they will look better against Dennis Allen's old team, the New Orleans Saints, and I think they get a win there. And then they go on the road on my birthday, October 26th. I will not be in Baltimore because I will not be spending my birthday in Baltimore, Maryland. The Baltimore Ravens should have been MVP, Lamar Jackson, and the Ravens, who are a Super Bowl contender. I think they're going to beat us, and I think they're going to blow us out. I do not think that's going to be a pretty afternoon whatsoever outside of my actual birthday. Then we go to another AFC North opponent on the road in Cincinnati. Love Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is one of the best, quarterbacks in the league. I think this is going to be a shootout game, but I think there's going to be so many chances for this Bears offense. That is a god-awful Cincinnati Bengals defense. And I think that Ben Johnson and Caleb, by this time in the season, should be able to exploit it. So I think the Bears are going to win that game. And I think they come home against the New York Giants. I'm not trying to hear nothing about Jackson Dart or Russell Wilson or my boy Jameis Winston. I still think the Bears win this game, and they win it pretty easily. Heading to Minnesota. Minnesota will get their lick back at US Bank. They will get the dub. This is the game I'm speaking more of my heart more than my head, because we never beat this man at Soldier Field or anywhere on earth. You've got Aaron Rodgers making his final appearance at Soldier Field, him and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not big on the Steelers like everybody else is, and that's outside of just my hate for Aaron Rodgers. I just don't think that's that good of a team, but I think they'll be prepared for that game, and I think that Aaron Rodgers would love to make a statement on the Bears his last time in Soldier Field. Having said that, like I said, this is a heart pick. I mean, this is a head pick. Heart pick, not a head pick. I got the Bears winning though. We can't allow him to beat us in Soldier Field in his last game there. So I'm gonna say Bears beat the Steelers. Then Black Friday, the first of many games on Amazon, NBA and NFL. Black Friday against the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. I also think this is going to be a blowout. I don't know if it's going to be electric slide level like it was in 2017, but I do not think this is going to be a close game. I think we're going to look very hungover off the holidays. So I think that's a loss. Then we go to Green Bay, our first time seeing the new look Packers with Micah Parsons. This is a late game. Like, we usually don't wait 11, 12 weeks to play the Green Bay Packers. I think we'll know who Jordan Love is by this time. I think Green Bay is going to win this game. I think they're going to win in Green Bay. And then we go back home for 2 games. I got the Bears beating the Cleveland Browns with ease at home, and then I've got them beating the Green Bay Packers at home, getting their look back. That's going to be the Saturday game. I think it's the day after Christmas. They have not confirmed the timing of this, but I do think it's going to be the I don't know why Dante is laughing like we didn't almost sweep them niggas last year, but whatever. I think it's fair enough to say we can split against the Packers. I feel Dante going to say we're going to be like 4-15.
Did you hear that maniacal laugh that
he
let off?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. He can't believe that I have a mitigated gall to think we're going to beat them when we were a fingernail away from sweeping these niggas last year. But anyway. Green Bay, I think they're going to win that one. I think that's going to be a Saturday night game. I think the Bears beat Green Bay. San Francisco, Sunday Night Football on the road. We never played well in San Francisco. And even though I think this Niners team is the worst we've seen them in a long time, I still think the Bears are going to lose in some stupid fashion just because we don't play well in the Bay Area. So I think San Francisco wins that. Final game of the season against the Detroit Lions. I think we beat the Detroit Lions on the final game of the season, and I think we're going to end the North 3-3. I think we split with all 3 teams in the division. So that finishes with my record. I think the Bears will finish 3rd in the North. I think they will be 9-8. I went back and forth of 8 wins or 9 wins. I decided to put my balls on the table and say 9 wins, and they will miss the playoffs. I do not think they're going to make it. I think you're going to need at the bare minimum 10 wins. And I do not think the Bears will get it. I think they can, but I don't think they will. So I got 9-8, 3rd in the North, and they barely missed the playoffs. So I'm going to let the Joker go next. Dante, the floor is yours.
Yeah, granted, this is just because the schedule is very difficult. Don't get me wrong. Like I just said, the man was going to go for 4,100 yards, not turn the ball over that much. But this schedule is difficult. So on my schedule, I do have a 2-game losing streak, a 4-game losing streak, and a 3-game losing streak. However, to JR's point, I think the start of the season is going to be the exact opposite of what people expect. I think it's going to get people's hopes up way too high. And then after that bye, it's going to come crashing down. So this is how I got it going. We're going to win week 1. I think week 1 is going to be a game where we've seen Caleb play well against Brian Flores-led defenses. So I'm not worried about that. We lose week 2 to the Lions. Week 3, Cowboys, not worried about them. I think we win week 4 against the Raiders. I think we start the season 3-1, and in typical Bear fashion, it's gonna have everybody on this high horse where we start talking crazy, and it's like, here we go. He's about to take off, blah blah blah, and then here comes reality. I think we lose to the Commanders. I think we beat New Orleans. I think we lose to Baltimore, and we also lose to Cincinnati. We beat the Giants. And then shit gets ugly for a second because I think we lose to the Vikings, we lose to the Steelers, we lose to Philly, and we lose to Green Bay. We beat the Browns. And then to close the season, it gets ugly again. Now, these may be close games. They'll be shootouts, but I don't think we come out on top. So I think to end the season, you lose to Green Bay, you lose in San Francisco, and you lose to Detroit. So I got the Bears at 6-11, missing the playoffs. But even at 6-11, if Ben has established his culture and they're fighting,
bro, you can't sell 6-11.
Okay.
No, you can't sell. If he's 6 games, he failed. There's no establishing culture of one win bigger than last year. No,
but you gotta think. No. This is why, because it's still, we talk about the eye test. So 6-11, 7. I had 7-10 at first. So it's one of these games that we lost that we could possibly win. I think I'm done slandering Joe Burrow, but I think the Bengals game is still a game we can win. So that would push us to 7-10. But that's really where I think this team sits right now. Like until I see Caleb officially turn that corner, and like again, the D line, we still think it's a problem. We still have to figure out how much of that can Dennis Allen scheme us out of. How much of that can he make up for the lack of talent?
I don't think
if he does that, then we at where you at with the 8 or 9. But I don't think your 6 or 7, bro.
I don't think your prediction is wrong. I'm saying if it's 6 or 7, everybody has every right to kill Ben Johnson. You can't sell 2 more wins than last year. I don't give a damn how tough the schedule is.
This is my thing, but that's why I disagree, because you know me.
So if the Bears have 6 or 7 wins, you're going to be leaving the season content or happy. I will be irate. If this team wins anything less than 8 games, I will be a very unhappy person.
But here's why. Again, we talk about the eye test all the time. If we remove every chart, every number, and I watch these 17 games, and this team looks like they actually give a damn, which we all know for years. We've seen this team go out there and pretty much by week 9, the defense just lay down because it's like, yeah, y'all not gonna score.
Hold on. I gotta call out this asinine comment right there. This dude just say trading Roquan is the same as trading Parsons. Yo, look, man, go sit down. Go sit down. For the love of God, I want you.
Through this. Hold on. Let me work through this.
No, stop it, bro. I like Roquan, but we ain't got to sit up here and lie about what Roquan has been since he's been the same player. And I'll be real, last year wasn't that good. But anyway,
you just don't pay linebackers like that.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying because it's the Bears and everything should be on the table. I'm just saying if it is less than 8 wins, I believe every media member, national and local, and every fan has the right to kill Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams.
And that's why I said that's my concern. Ben Johnson and how this team looks. Because I actually agree with both of you. If the Bears win 6-7 games, but you feel like there's hope, you see improvement, because it's on paper is a tough schedule. On paper, it's a tough schedule. If you see that, I personally wouldn't be mad at a 7-10 Bears team. If you do see some growth, because again, especially that back half, and I'm gonna get to my predictions, but later, but because the back half, but I think both of you all are right. But while I might see that, I believe that the national media are going to be like, except for Dan Orlovsky. He's going to be the only person that's going to be like, hey, I told you it's going to take some time.
Okay, I don't know. This dude in the comments is an idiot. I'm sorry. I just got to say that. You're a dumbass. I just got to say that. You get to bring up Bryce Young. Stop it. Anyway, Ben, give us your prediction. I told Courtney she'll go last.
All right, so I'm kind of on the same wavelength as Dante here. I think the season is going to start off really good, though, and it's going to get Caleb and Ben Johnson in front of some of the national media having the little interviews and stuff. You'll see Caleb talking to Kimberly Martin and Maria Taylor on Monday Night Football, because I do have the Bears defeating Minnesota, Game 1. Game 2, they're gonna lose to Detroit. Game 3, now that Micah Parsons ain't there, hey, I'm giving them a loss right there. And I do believe they're gonna go to Las Vegas and defeat the Raiders. There's gonna be a bye. And I do have the Bears beating the Washington Commanders. Like, look, I had to go and check this out. I had to go and do my little studies while we was doing this. And there's been one game where Cliff Kingsbury went against Dennis Allen, and the Saints kicked the Arizona Cardinals' ass. And here's the other thing: it's that second year of Cliff Kingsbury I be worried about. It ain't the first year; it's that second year. So I believe that it is very much possible that we could see a sophomore jinx when it comes to Jaden Daniels because of the sophomore year slumps that Cliff Kingsbury offenses do go through. So I wouldn't be surprised at that, right? So then of course I have the Bears defeating the New Orleans Saints. So y'all might be looking at me and y'all might be saying, bang, you got the Bears losing one game before they go against the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, I do. But that's when shit starts to wet the bed. You're going to get our ass kicked by the Baltimore Ravens. Think we're going to lose that Bengals game because I don't think we're going to be ready offensively against that team and defensively against Joe Burrow. I do have the Bears defeating the Giants, but they're going to lose to the Vikings. They're going to lose to the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers' last game at Soldier Field. Do I want to say that? No, I don't want to say that, but do believe that's going to happen because I believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be way better than what people think. We're going to also lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to lose to the Green Bay Packers in that game. We're going to beat the Browns. We're going to lose against Green Bay again. We're going to defeat the 49ers, but lose to the 49ers, but I think we win the last game of the season against Detroit because Detroit will be a playoff bound team and they're not really going to give a damn. So I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh, I,
6,
I think
7,
Detroit gonna
8
need that
games.
game. So you got 8 wins. Okay.
Yep, I got 8
I
wins.
don't.
Bears 8
I
9.
think that's fair. I think that's fair. Detroit, I think is gonna need every last one of these games. I truly do. I don't think they run away with shit in that division. I think it's gonna be a nice 1-2 race with them in Green Bay, and I hate to say it. But I think, like I said, not to say that Dante isn't fair. I think, like I said, everything should be on the table with this team. Uh, I'm just saying that if it is 6 wins, unleash the flukes, Guru. I do not care what the media is saying at that point because everything will be deserved to that point. Courtney, take us home. What's your record? Give us the games you think they're gonna. And bang! So they missed the playoffs. I'm guessing is what you're saying.
I think it's going to be fight for it. I think they're going to miss though.
Okay. All right.
And I mind you, I have my predictions written down, and I'm still looking at this schedule. And there's some coin flips in here for me that I'm like, if they go 7-10, I'm like, okay. But if they go 10-7, I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like it could go one of two ways for me.
No, 100%. I agree.
Vikings, I think they win week 1 just because they have home field. Lose to the Lions. I think you beat Dallas at home. I think you lose to the Raiders. Actually, I think you could beat the Raiders. I think you could absolutely beat the Raiders. Yeah, I'm a mark week 4 as a win. Commanders week 6, I'm gonna take that as an L. So sorry. Saints win. Ravens L. Bengals win. Giants win at home for sure. Vikings on the road, I'm gonna chalk that up as a loss. Steelers win. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. Eagles L. Packers, I think that is an L. I think that week 14 is an L at Lambeau. Browns win. Packers at home. That's a win. 49ers, I think that's a loss. And then week 18. I don't know. I think that's a win. It feels like a win.
Okay. So how many wins?
Is this what it's like to have hope?
No, it's not delusional. I don't think anybody
like a grape.
I don't think anybody on the show has been delusional today. And it's a 180 from what our preview show was last year, where Bang was saying 12 wins. So maybe that's a good omen.
Yeah, I ain't
that we
doing that
on
no
the
more.
other
I ain't
side.
doing.
Hope is a dangerous thing.
But I have. If you were to ask me what is a potential high point, here's my potential high point. Joe Burrow in his first season got injured, didn't finish the season, yada yada yada. His second season, what did they do?
What's the Super Bowl? That's the interesting thing about the season, because Courtney, what you were saying, is it delusional? No, I don't think it's delusional. I think this season could be anywhere. I don't think we getting six. I don't see six. The only way I see 6 wins if we have absolutely terrible injury luck. Terrible injury luck. I could see 6. Outside of that, I think this could be anywhere from a 7-win season to a 12-win season. I really think it's that big of a gap. Neither outcome would surprise me, and I think every Bears fan should be prepared for either option. And I thought I was being, the 2-2 start. I think would be fine, but man, you and Dante kind of talked me into them starting fast and then falling off. That I could see. That would be classic Bears. When we sitting here heading into the bye week and we're 3-1. I could 100% see that, and then the wheels kind of falling off a little bit. That's why it's going to be an interesting season to me.
Because I had him 2-2 before the Micah trade, but I think we beat the Cowboys now that he's not there. I think it'll be.
I had him beating the Cowboys even before.
I think we beat them.
Just because the Cowboys.
Yeah, I did too.
And I can't remember the last time the Bears lost to the Cowboys home or away.
Hey, I remember I went to that coldest game ever, that thicker game, bear down, and I left at halftime because that shit was cold as hell.
So that's why it's going to be an interesting season, man. Catch I'm Not Gonna Hold You, hosted by Scott Lewis, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on HMB Media and the Barber's Chair Network.